You need this. That's the answer. Okay? And so, here's the illustration. This awesome illustration. So imagine, okay, we're trying to answer the question, why do I feel like I still desire those things? Why do I feel like I desire sin still? Okay? Illustration. Imagine you've lived at a house for about 20 years. Okay? And you've been going to this house for 20 years, and you understand the routes that you take from work, from your school, from your best friend's house. You've memorized all the correct paths, the right turns to take. You've memorized the fastest routes, and you've memorized how the traffic works in accordance with these routes. You know which turns to take. You've done this for 20 years. And then imagine you move 10 minutes away. Right? That first day after you move, you're coming home from work, you're going to take that old route because you've done that for 20 years. 20 years out of sheer muscle memory and habit, you will take the exact same turns and you probably will go to your old house. And when you get to your old house, you're like, oh, what the heck? I moved. And then from that old house, you go to the new house. You realize, I can't believe I just did that. But you don't slap yourself for it. You don't get pissed at yourself. You don't condemn yourself. You don't think, oh man, I'm such a screw up. I went to my old house. You just conclude, oh yeah, I'll make sure I don't forget next time. And you'll make a mental note where you start, so you imagine, okay, tomorrow, okay, when I get home from work, I'm going to make a right instead of making a left at this particular light. Because if I go left, I'll go to my old house. But if I make a right, I'll go to the new house. And then it'll take a conscious effort over and over until you pretty much realize, or you start forging a new habit, a new pattern, a new muscle memory to the point where you naturally go to that new house every time. It might take a week, might take a few weeks, usually not, but by the time a few months is over, you'll be going to the new house every single time. Because but what started out as a habitual, naturally feeling, I feel prone to this, I feel like I want to go this way, it's because you did it for 20 years. But even if you failed that first time in getting to your new house that first time, you don't feel like, you never say to yourself, dude, I am never going to get to that new house. This is just impossible, I'll never get to the new house. No one thinks that. No one ever thinks it's hopeless, or no one ever thinks it's going to be a very, very, very hard challenge to get to the new house from work. Why? Because they moved. I no longer live here. I live here. Even though I've done this for 20 years, the next day if I move, I will still feel and understand and think the way I used to for 20 years. And if I want to see a different result, if I want to take a different path, if I want to take a different route, and if I want to arrive at a different location, being here, if I want to get here, then I need to consciously make an effort of, okay, when I'm in this situation, I need to make a right instead of a left. And you will make it here every single time, so long as you believe you live here. But if for a split second you believe you still live here, or you allow muscle memory to take over and habit and familiarity to take over, you'll go here every single time. Because you have not understood, you have not changed your way of thinking to a degree. Oh yeah, I live at the new house. Right? Whenever you move, you get to the new house every time. Now, it's really only for the first 2 or 3 days you screw up, muscle memory takes over, habit takes over, and you go to your old house. Good. And then with conscious effort, you get here every single time. That's why Romans 12 says, do not be conformed, don't be conformed to the world, but be renewed, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is the acceptable and perfect will of God. We understand this is God's will. We understand it's God's will for us to bear the fruit of the Spirit. We know that. Okay, why don't I get there? Because your thinking sucks.
Thanks.
Really, the only reason why, from the way I understand it now, the only reason why you actually sin is because for a split second, you allow habit to take over. And to some degree, you do not understand that you've moved. Because when you move, every single time, you know this is the home location, your default, that you're going to go to. Every time. Anybody have questions? Is this helping anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, that's the point. It's supposed to help you. Does this give you confidence that you might actually get here and live this out consistently from this point on? Yeah, some people will get the mindset of, oh, I'm a believer now. I need to do all this stuff. I need to do. When in reality, new actions are a result of a new identity. So none of this is about, oh, I need to do more because I know I'm a believer and I need to live up to specific standards. That's what a lot of church culture does. They place all these standards. Because we knew all this growing up. We knew that we were supposed to be here growing up in church and we had all these standards placed over us. But they never taught us who we really were. And they never changed the way we thought in accordance to this. So we never felt empowered to do this. We were taught, lived in this culture of, yeah, Jesus, you're a new creation. Awesome. Now do this. And we never were taught to renew our knowledge according to the image of Him, that we become like Christ, so that our actual identity, our being has changed. If you move, I don't need to tell you that you need to take new directions. If you know that you've moved, I don't need to remind you, hey, you should take that turn. Why? Because your default is, I want to get home. So you already have a natural propensity to go to the new route because that's home. That's where your belongings are. That's where you belong. That's where your possessions are. That's where your family is. So that demand of you need to take this route doesn't exist anymore. It becomes a natural outflow. I didn't do it this time. Out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. Out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. The life of the non-believer, out of the overflow of the heart, which is evil, that's how they walk. Believer, this is going to happen. Out of the overflow of the heart, all this stuff will flow out. It only doesn't if I have this thinking right here. That's it.
Because then your words have to go through your thought process.
Yeah. Exactly. Does this help? Yes. That's the good news. This is the simplicity of how to do the Christian life. If you can get this, you're set. See, so it's any behavior. Let's just take practical examples. If it's me, I struggle with anger issues. I've done this for 20 years of my life. It's whenever my mom says something in some kind of tone, my muscle memory and habit immediately says, "Oh, I hate that." And so, if I don't consciously take that effort, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get angry. I'm going to respond in aggravation, out of annoyance. And so the way I get free from this result, this route that I take to the old house, is if I take the conscious effort to do this. Okay, I'm a new man. Therefore, okay, if my mom does that again in that tone, where in the past, I know it feels so natural, it's what I've done for 20 years, I'm going to feel like that. But because I know this, I'm a new man, therefore I have new behaviors. It's just who I am now. I've moved to a new house, I just take these routes to go home. Because I know this, so the next time I'm taking that turn, I normally take a left, I normally flip out and get angry and But no, that's not who I am anymore. So now I'm going to take a right. I'm going to realize that she has no control over how I respond. And even though she seems to be attacking the things I enjoy or things I love, I understand. My mom loves me, and love is who I am. So I'm going to respond out of love. It's who I am, I'm patient. That's who I am. It's the fruit that naturally comes out of me because the Spirit's in me. I'm just patient. And so I make that conscious effort of, okay, I'm going to take a right instead of left. So the next time it happens, I'm at the intersection. I've rehearsed it multiple times. Yeah, and take a right. Because that's not who I am anymore. So yeah, take a right. And so the next time my mom yells at me in that tone, whatever, I will still be reminded of, I feel like I'm going to go that way, but no. I know I am. I rehearsed this. I made a conscious effort of, oh, thanks, Mom. And you just respond out of who you are, not out of your habit. Easy. And so, if there is any of this in your life, grace to you. Grace to you. You're free to change. It doesn't define you. God's not holding it against you. We don't hold it against you. You're free to change. And we'll love you through it. You just forgot for a split second you lived at your whole house. Or for a split second you forgot you lived at your new house. I don't hold it against you. You've received grace from your Father. Just move on. Remind yourself who you are. You're walking it. But it will never empower them to walk here if they don't know who they are. That's the whole point. Because, dude, we've had so many discussions with people on Facebook, and they say we're giving people license to sin, and really, we are if we don't teach them how to do this. If we don't empower people to renew their thinking into the image of Him, that is who they are now, then behaving the way they used to seems perfectly logical, and it'll feel natural, and they feel like they still want to. And if they keep walking that way, it'll grow on them. So, anywho, that's it.